Good evening and welcome to Cup of Tea and Case Studies. Is this our eighth edition, maybe ninth edition, something like that? It is good to see you guys. Hope you're having a nice evening. And we'll say hello to the chat in a minute. So hit your comments up, say hello to everybody who's in the chat, geographers who are joining us this evening. Hope you are well. We've just had the half-term holidays. So where did you go? What did you get up to in the half-term holidays? Did you go anywhere nice? Any places that you visited? I went to Scarborough. I know many of you might know that my parents are from Scarborough, so I went to Scarborough. It was horrific weather. Cold, wet, windy, but Scarborough's still nice to get to the beach and things like that, which is really good. All your questions in the chat, guys. Hit us up in the chat. Any questions and say hello. And yeah, where did you go in the holidays? Let us know. Let us know where you went in the holidays. If you visited any new places. Today's live stream is all about sustainable water management. Paper 2, which is just around the corner. I am excited for paper 2. Wednesday. It's this Wednesday the 5th in the morning. Yeah, that's what we're going to look at tonight. So hit us up with any questions as well for paper 2, and we'll get started. Where did you go in the holidays? And if you're in year 11, how did your maths exam go today? I'll be interested to know how maths went. And obviously as well, it's cup of tea and case studies. So yeah, what you eating? What are you getting? What biscuits and snacks have you got to get you through tonight's case study? And do you have a cup of tea, or have you got something else to get you through tonight's case study? As it'll go as no surprise. Here we go. There we go. That's it looks a bit grey actually on that picture, doesn't it? That looks horrendous. There's my cup of tea. Yeah, and a couple of biscuits now, little Fox's Viennese. So 2 little biscuits will get me through tonight's case study. What are you eating and drinking to get you through your geography case study? Again, hit us up in the comments. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up as well. It really does help to boost the channel and get it out to more of you lovely geographers out there. So let's go and say hello to the people. First of all, huge hello to our mods. Whoop, whoop. Thanks to our moderators who have joined us tonight. Appreciate that. And also, moderator, give us some facts as well. I love your little facts that we can maybe add along the way to our case study. James, good to see you, James. Thanks for joining us this evening on YouTube for our Monday night live stream. Arson, good to see you. I know you were on fire today with your geography paper 2. How was psychology, by the way, just out of interest? How was your psychology? But thanks for dropping in and joining us as well. And also Bobby McBob, thanks for joining us, Bobby. Paper 2, yeah. So it's Wednesday morning. How many 9 markers are on paper 2? Good question. There are 2 9 markers. Yeah, so section 1, urban issues, has a 9 marker plus 3 for SPAG. So yeah, so technically that's a 12 marker. So it's 9 plus 3 for SPAG. And then question 2, economic world, also has a 9 marker. So there are 2 9 markers and 2 6 markers as well. 1 6 marker in resources, and then 1 in your additional topic, either food, water, and energy. So the answer to your question is there are 2. 1 in urban issues and challenges, and 1 in economic world. Hope that helps you. I take it you like 9 markers. Give us a shout out for 9 markers. We love 9 markers, don't we, in geography? Laura, lovely to see you. Thanks for joining us as well on our Monday night live stream. I keep thinking Friday night, but it's not Friday night. It's Monday night. It's because I do a live stream on a Friday as well. Me and Demny went camping right after school on Friday. Oh, very nice. Where'd you go? Peak District. Somewhere local, I'm guessing you went. But yeah, good for you. Get out and about. It's good fun. Hi, sir. Abyss. That's something like really deep, isn't it, in the ocean? Good to see you, Abyss. Thanks for joining us as well. Hi, sir. I'm here with Lillian. Oh, very good. Thanks for joining as well, guys. Appreciate that. And we've also got Arson here. Psychology was easy. Easiest exam ever done. Literally felt like I was reading my notes throughout the whole thing. I'm so happy. Yes. Awesome. Honestly, could get an A star, assuming good grade. But oh, wow, that is really good. Well done. Usually, if it feels like it's gone that well, it's because you've prepared really well for that exam, and you've been well rehearsed for that exam. So well done, excellent. Put in the hard work in there, and it should pay off. Those year 11s that are here to revise tonight, yeah, it's all about revision. The exams are not a scary thing. In fact, they can be quite satisfying as well if you feel that you've done really well. And tonight, we're going to prepare you with sustainable water management. And hopefully, if this comes up, which I think it might, you're going to feel really good about it as well. Don't be scared of exams. They're just an opportunity to showcase your geography talents. That's how I like to see it. We went to Spondonk. I've heard of Spondon, if that's how you Spondon. I've heard of Spondon. Maybe it is Spondon. They had an event at the whole bank holiday weekend. Oh, very good. Well done, you. Absolutely grind. Yeah. It's all about revision, guys. Exams are as hard or as easy as you make them through how much revision that you do. And be prepared, do well, and you can be successful. I just think the exams are a measure of people's revision. I do honestly believe that. Put the hours in, put the time in, do all the past papers, and you'll fly. You'll absolutely fly. Probably did about an hour and a half for psych and half of geography every day. Yeah, good tip that is. Thanks for sharing the tips, guys. Just to let you know, Arsene is a A-level geographer. So there's the tip. Not little, but yeah, an hour and a half each day. Run it up over a number of days. Yeah, you'll be fine. And it was Spondon. There you go. Cool. Spondon is a place near Derby. Right, let's just check in and make sure you've got all your goodies that you need for your live case study tonight. Here we go. Have you got the following stuff? There we go. Our standard case study materials, coloured crayons, highlighter. I don't know why I have a ruler, but just in case I need a ruler, and a pen. We are going to get started, guys, in about 30 seconds. So if you need to grab some, go grab it. I'm going to have a quick sip of tea. And then we're going to get started with sustainable water management. If you've got any questions, comments, facts, figures, interesting stuff, yeah, let us know in the chat as we go along, and it'll all help to build up our case study. Paper 2 geography was difficult to revise for, honestly, the focus of local contrasting places. Yeah, it was tough. I've looked at the paper. There's some nice bits in there, but there were some tricky bits. I wouldn't worry, honestly. Also, with geography, it's hard to tell exactly how well you've done. Paper 2, because it's human geography, will be very broad on the mark scheme because lots of people talk about different places. Yeah, I wouldn't worry. I'm sure you've done pretty well. If you've done the revision, you'll have done well, and you'll get the grade that you're supposed to get. So whatever your predicted grade was, you probably get in and around there anyway at the end of it all. So well done. Keep up the hard work. And paper 3 for A-level is on the 10th of June, just around the corner. Now, paper 2, GCSE geography. Let's get started. It's broke up into 4 sections. You're going to have urban issues in question 1, economics in question 2, UK resources in question 3, which this might come up in kind of UK resources, but it's most likely to come up in question 5, water. Water is a specialism. So yeah, that's whereabouts it's probably going to appear. So here we go then, let's get started. And if you've just joined us just to listen in, well, thanks as well. I appreciate that as a little podcast. We do like a podcast. Arsene is going to go. He's one of my A-level geographers. I will see you tomorrow, period 4 as well, for our paper 3 prep. It's going to be good. So see you tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. GCSE, here we go. Sustainable water management. So that's going to be our title. So let me just drop you down. Here we go, just so you can be a bit closer to what you can. Let's get my. There we go. So we're going to put a title: sustainable water management. Okay, we're going to unpick that as well and have a little think about what we mean by sustainable water management. But I am going to put a little water droplet there. And, you know, those little green arrows kind of as well. Sustainable water management often is about reusing water, using it sustainably. So we are going to pick out what that means as well, sustainable water management. But there is our title, a little bit of colour. And there we go. So we're going to pick out some facts over here, first of all, guys. So let me just show you where we are on the page. So top left, here we go. We're going to go some facts, because we like facts in our geography. It's always good to support some of your information with some facts. There we go. This is our little fact file about how severe water issues are. Now, number one is our first fact. Water is a finite resource. So it's a finite resource, meaning that there is a limited amount on Earth. We can't make any more. It is limited to the exact amount that we've got already, and therefore need to be looking after it sustainably. So it's a finite resource. It's a limited amount on Earth. It's a limited amount or quantity. Now, issues that we've got already that we've got developing. We have 2 billion people who live in water stress areas already. So 2 billion people live in areas where there's already a lack of water. Bearing in mind there's 8.1 billion. So that's roughly 1 in 4 people living in water stress areas. The WHO, which is part of the United Nations, World Health Organization, say that 1 in 3 people here we go, that's 1 in 3. So 1 in 3 people, this person here, let's put them in red. And do the other 2 in blue. So 1 in 3 people don't have access to safe drinking water. Don't have access to safe drinking water. Now, that is a real problem for those families, because not only do we drink the water, we use it for washing, we use it for sanitation, flushing toilets. We use water for many, many things, washing clothes, all sorts of things. And that will have a significant impact on these people's quality of life and life expectancy. Infant mortality rates increase, life expectancy decreases, all because you don't have access to clean water. And I've said this a number of times, we always think medicine, that's what's made us live longer. People are living longer because of medicine. Well, the thing that had the biggest impact on life expectancy was access to clean water. That was the biggest jump in life expectancy we've ever seen. So clean water makes people live longer. That is really important. Now, a worse figure than that is 1 in 2 people. So here we go, our little figures again. 1 in 2 people don't have access to sanitation. So that is sanitation services. 1 in 2 people lack access. This is to things like hand washing and toilet flushing, lack access to sanitation services. Now that is really shocking, which is around about over 4 billion people, 4.2 billion people. So if you need some facts about why water is important and why we need to do something about water, well, there you've got them. Shocking statistics. Water stress areas, 2 billion. 1 in 3 people lack access to drinking water, and 1 in 2 people lack access to sanitation services. Now, what does the future hold? We're going to do our last little fact. By 2080, we're going to see an increase of 80% increase in the demand for water, in particular in urban areas. So that's because of rates of urbanization. So because more people are going to be living in cities by 2050, they will demand water, and it's urban areas. There's my little city. It's urban areas and growing populations in urban areas, which means that we're going to need more water. So 80% increase in the demand for water by 2050, largely in urban areas and largely for agriculture as well. So that's where most of the demand is going to come from. Right, so there is our little fact file. Like, now let's talk about sustainability then, and what that means. I'm going to put sustainability up here at the top of here, yeah, and just unpick that word sustainable. All right, so I'll just zoom in a little bit. There we go. Hopefully that's better. So let's have a look what we mean by the word sustainable and how that links to water management. So I've just unpicked that word there. So sustainable means the following. It means meeting the current demands for water So it's about meeting the current demands for water without compromising future generations. And that's what sustainability from the Brundtland report is all about. It's about meeting the needs of now, using water that we need for agriculture, industry, domestic use, but not using that much or damaging that source to prevent future generations having access to clean water. So it's thinking about the future, thinking about sustainability. And we also have a sustainable development goal. So maybe we should put a little football goal here. And there we go. There's our little football goal. And we've got a sustainable development goal. We've set ourselves a target for the future. Sustainable Development Goal 6. So there's, is there 20 Sustainable Development Goals? I think there might be 20 in total. Anyway, goal number 6 is about sustainable water management. So Sustainable Goal 6 is making sure that the entire planet has access to safe water in the future. And we're going to try and achieve this by 2030. So by 2030, all the countries working together on their water supply and demand issues are going to make sure that by 2030 we have access to safe water in all countries and every person around the world. So that's what it's all about. Also, a couple of other things is sustainable water management is about equitable, this is for higher grades really, but equitable use of water. So what that means is sharing between countries. So countries that have water will share with countries that perhaps are water stressed. So equitable sharing, I'm just going to highlight that because that is really important as well. There we go. So sustainability is about equitable use of water, and it's also about affordability. So some countries where water is quite scarce, water is very expensive. In places like Venezuela, water can be quite expensive there. So countries where water is a scarce resource, where there isn't so much, affordability could be an issue. making water affordable to all. There we go. So it means that it's not too expensive and that people, even the poorest people in the country, can still afford to have safe, clean, drinkable water. So that word sustainable, it means a lot of things. And it means about future generations having water, using water sensibly now, being equitable with our water, and making sure that water is affordable. So now we're going to look at the strategies, and I think we're going to split this up into two areas at the bottom. So let me just zoom out for a minute, guys, just whilst you have a little look at what we've done so far. So that's what we've done so far. There we go. We've got about just over half a page at the bottom. Have a quick sip of tea. And now we're going to have a look at some of these strategies. So if you get asked a question, it'd be 6 marks probably. It might be about sustainable water management. What can we do to make sure we manage water sustainably? So I am going to split this page up a little bit. And the first section, we're going to talk about our strategies, and then we're going to talk about sand dams. So there we go. I'll just put a little wavy line just to break that up there. There we go. Because it's water, we'll just make it blue. There we go. And I'm going to split it down into sustainable strategies over here, and then I want to talk about sand dams. So let's just do it down here. I'll just zoom out for you guys so you can see how much we've got for each area. There we go. So we've got slightly less here for sand dams, which we're going to put in this side. And then we've got our sustainable strategies over here. So slightly larger space for this one. Okay. Right. Let's zoom in. Let's have a little look at some of these sustainable strategies. There we go. Okay. So sustainable water management strategies. If you can hit us up in the chat, guys, what can we do to manage water sustainably? What do you know of in terms of strategies, ways to manage water sustainably? So what have we got? We've got 3 major ones here. What ideas have you got, guys? So we're going to do number 1. There's our number 1. Okay, so number 1 is going to be water conservation. Water conservation, which means to save water, basically. If you're conserving something, what you're doing is you are saving that water, trying to make sure that you don't waste it. Yeah, sensible use of water. So what can we do here? Well, let's have a little look at some strategies to conserve water. We can use modern appliances. So dishwashers. So a dishwasher, for example, washing machines, all of those things have an eco wash setting. So we're going to use our eco wash settings to make sure that we get our nice clean dishes, or we clean our clothes, but we're not wasting too much water when we do so. So we can have our eco wash. Let's put our washing machine in that. There we go, guys. That's a washing machine. There we go. And we've got our eco wash. It uses less water as it washes the clothes, or if it's a dishwasher, washes the dishes. So that's our first one. Next one is we've got dual flush toilets. dual flush toilets. Yeah. And that's where you've got your 2 buttons on top of your toilet. There you go. There's our little dual flush toilet. And 1 button will do 4 litres in the UK. And then the larger button does 6 litres. Yeah. However, that does actually save water long term. So dual flush toilets, and you've got 2 buttons on the top. You've probably seen these in many hotels or even maybe at your house as well. Modern houses. You can do 2 buttons. The small one does 4 litres, and then the larger button does 6 litres. A country that uses this is South Africa. South Africa, and also the UK, but South Africa is a country that uses dual flush toilet systems. So there you go, to conserve water. It's always good to get those examples in, guys, especially if you're going for those higher grades. Really, really important. A couple of others. Let's go with the next one, which is water meters. Now, your parents will know what these are, and they're probably not big fans of them. So a water meter actually measures how much you're using per drop. So it's measuring exactly how much you're using, and it will make a difference to how much you spend. So usually if you know how much you're using, you might not spend as much money. So water meters are in UK houses, generally that are 20 years or younger. It measures every drop that you use, and then you pay for every drop, which makes you then think, no, I'm going to save a bit more water. So there's our little water meter. It measures the amount of water. So that's water conservation. Let's go for one. Let's go for one more. Another good one, which is drip irrigation. So farmers can use drip irrigation, which is where you drip water directly onto the roots of a crop. So every crop that you grow, these are my crops. Let's put a water droplet there. It goes directly onto the root system. It goes directly into the roots here. Yeah, so there's our droplet of water going directly onto the plant, and that helps to stop water being wasted through things like spray irrigation. So yeah, this is also called, just for grades 4 and above, more crop per drop. Try and remember that, guys. Yeah, so farmers being very sensible. Also, it saves them money if they're paying for the water. Getting more crop for every drop of water. It's drip irrigation. This is really effectively used as well in Spain. Sorry, I just dropped my pen. So your example could be here. It could be Spain. More crop per drop. There are obvious ones as well. Some other ones that we could do, which is instead of having a bath, you could have a shower. That also helps to save water. So there's my bath. That's not actually my bath. That's a bath. And they use a lot of water in a standard bath. But we're going to say no to baths. And we're going to say yes to showers. Showers. A shower that's less than 10 minutes will use less water than a bath. So that's another one that you can do. So a big tick for showers, and that's another way of conserving water. Other ones you might get on a mark scheme is things like switching your tap off when you brush your teeth. Also saves a few litres of water. So water conservation is a great one, and there's 4 really good examples of ways in which you can conserve water. Now let's do number 2. Number 2. There we go. Hopefully you can squeeze them in. If not, guys, just do it on the back of your paper as well. Doesn't really matter as long as you've got the revision down. There we go. Number 2 is, here we go, is groundwater management. So this is where you manage your groundwater levels. Okay, and we do this in the UK. So the example is UK government / water companies. So if you live in the area that I live, it's Severn Trent Water who manage groundwater levels. So if you're in the same area in Midlands, that's who manages your groundwater levels. So groundwater management, in fact, let's put these in green, guys. Groundwater management, yep, and water conservation. Put them in green because they are really important. So how does it work? So it monitors the level and quality of water. So you know exactly how much you've got. And how does that help? It prevents over abstraction of water. So if you know how much is left, you could then perhaps use a different source. Over abstraction of water is prevented. If you know that your groundwater levels are low, you may use an alternative source of water. Now, groundwaters can be polluted by things like agricultural runoff, industrial chemicals, things like that will pollute your groundwater levels. So it's really important that you know how safe that drinking water is and whether the levels are running low. The challenge here, though, there is a big challenge to monitoring groundwater levels, which is that 64% of aquifers, which is the stores of water in the permeable rocks. Aquifers is a key word, guys. If you're doing the water topic, make sure you know what an aquifer is. It's an underground store of water in permeable rocks. But 64% of aquifers are shared between countries, which is a bit of a problem because if you're trying to share between countries, if you're trying to monitor the groundwater levels, a number of countries would need to monitor the same aquifers because they're so large. And if one country over abstracts and the other country is monitoring, there might lead to things like conflict. So I'm going to put in brackets there, potential conflict over the management of these aquifers with two or more countries using the same aquifer. So it could be problematic. Right, number 3. I haven't got a lot of room for number 3 here, but there you go. You can use the back of your sheet. Oops. As well, guys. So number 3, and it's an important one, is grey water recycling. So let's put this up here. Grey water recycling. There we go. Let's highlight that one. This one is a really good one to talk about in your exams. Grey water recycling, which is about reusing water. Yeah, recycling means to reuse again and again. So what can we do there? Well, we could maybe reuse water to flush toilets. Possibly, yeah. So you can filter the water out. So things like washing up water, you could filter it and then use that to flush the toilets. Yeah, you could reuse it again. Also, you could do rainwater harvesting, which is where you collect rainwater from the roof. Rainwater harvesting. And what you tend to do is you have a big container. Yeah, you may have seen people do this. And then a pipe off a roof. And then you collect it in a big container. And it stores the water inside. And you can use that to water your garden and things like that. Yeah. So you tend to collect rainwater from the roof in the guttering, drips into a container, and then you store it in a container and use it to water your plants. We do that in the UK. So you see this in the UK gardens, but you can also do it. It's a very affordable, very cost-effective way of doing it in poorer countries as well. So yeah, it's called rainwater harvesting. Really good strategy. Who is very good at grey water recycling? I'm going to give you 2 places. The first one is Singapore. So Singapore, country in Southeast Asia, has a red and white flag. So I'm just going to do it in red. There you go. So Singapore use a lot of water, and they've managed to get their water consumption down to 150 litres per person per day. Per day, which was much higher. It was about 200 litres before they started using grey water recycling. So now it's down to, they've dropped their water consumption to 150 litres per person per day. That's obviously for everything. That's their drinking, they're washing their clothes, they're washing themselves. It's the whole thing. The food that's grown, the water that's used for that as well. So they've managed to get their water consumption right down in there. Victor shocked here by something. I don't know if it's about the facts of the water in Singapore, but yeah, I love the little water droplet there. It's like a water droplet with eyes on stalks. The other country that you could also mention, remember case studies are really good, is Qatar, which is in the Middle East. It's a very it's in the Arabian desert, so it's a very hot country. But Qatar is one, and they get 14% of their water comes from grey water recycling. So 14% of water that they use comes from grey water recycling. So there you go. Really, really good. So you've got lots of examples there, strategies about water, sustainable water strategies. So if that was a 6 mark, I mean, look at that, guys. You've got everything there. Examples, case studies, facts, figures. But there's 3 main areas: water conservation, groundwater management, and grey water recycling. Now, we're going to finish up with a bit of a case study. So let's just zoom right out. Let's have a look what we've got so far. There you go. So we're going to finish off with the case study down in the bottom. Still can't get it high enough. There we go. Is that high enough? Pretty much high enough there. And we're going to finish off by looking at sand dams in Kenya. Now, if you're asked about successful sustainable management strategies, you've got to talk about sand dams in Kenya. They are an awesome strategy, and that's what this area here is going to be dedicated to. So are we ready to zoom in on our specialist case study on successful water management and sustainable water management in Kenya? So we're going to go with sand dams in Kenya, which is an LIC country. And Kenya builds 150 of these, 150 built every year. They build these sand dams, and it is a case study, guys. So let's put it in yellow. And again, if you're asked about sustainable water management, you can talk about sand dams. You can talk about all this stuff here, but we can also talk about sand dams. Okay. So what do you need for a sand dam? Well, first of all, you need a seasonal river. So a river that flows at a certain time of the year, usually in the wetter months. But you do need a seasonal river. Otherwise, you cannot build a sand dam. So you might argue that's a bit of a limitation. The fact that you need to be near a river to start with. But anyway, you need a seasonal river. So it's not always going to be flowing. Certain times of the year, it will flow. They're used in areas where you've got water insecurity or water stress. So 2 billion people live in water stress areas. Sand dams could be an option. They're also a fantastic example of appropriate technology. So again, these are a type of appropriate technology. So again, in the mark scheme, you get good marks for this one. Appropriate technology. So much so, I'm going to highlight it. Okay. What do we mean by appropriate? We mean that it's affordable. So we're not giving them We're not building something here that's going to be too expensive for people in Kenya or local authorities or governments to buy. So it's affordable, and local community are able to maintain it. Okay, keep it going. So it's not going to require any specialist skills, any specialist equipment in case it breaks. It's not going to require fuel constantly, which would be expensive. And it's not going to have electrical parts that might be difficult to replace, where you'd have to rely on a HIC. It's completely self-reliant. They can keep it going without any outside intervention. So it's a really good one. Another good thing about these technologies is they promote things like gender equality, because it's normally girls or women that have to collect water and miss out on school and miss out on education. So they promote gender equality and female empowerment. Let's put that. It empowers women to go to work if they need to, and girls to go to school and be educated like the boys are. So it's a really good one to talk about if you're a female in this geography exam. It's definitely one to mention that they really help with that. So what is a sand dam? Let me draw a little diagram of a sand dam. Just a quick little sketch, and then we'll talk about all the positives of sand dams. So there is our sand dam there. This is a cross section. It's like a side view. Here's the bedrock, the riverbed. Yeah. So that's the underlying rock. And we've got here our reinforced concrete wall, which is the dam. This is what's built by the local community. Reinforced concrete wall. So you do need concrete. That would be, I'm just going to get my pencil, guys. Yeah. And just shade that in grey. Because it is concrete. There we go. Give it a little smudge. That's our reinforced concrete wall. And then behind it here is our sand and our water. So it's about 40% water. So there's our water. And then above it is the sand. That's why it's called a sand dam. There we go. So here is the sand. And here is the water. The clean, fresh, filtered water. There's our sand and our water. And about 40% of the volume is water. So you've got about 60% sand, 40% water is water. Yeah. And the water passes through the sand, and as it passes through the sand, it's filtered, it's cleaned, as it were. And the beauty of this as well is that the sand above it stops it from evaporating. So that prevents evaporation. It also prevents things like mosquitoes. So I'm going to put protective layer of sand. Let's put protective layer there. It prevents evaporation of the water, protects it from mosquitoes landing on the water, causing waterborne diseases. So yeah, it's really good in that way. Lots of benefits. So that's our sand dam. That's what they look like. Right, let's talk about the advantages then. Let's just finish off with the advantages of sand dams. They are a superb, sustainable example of water management. That's why they've built 150 in Kenya. So there's many reasons why sand dams are good. Let's just go for a few. So the first one is, here's our first one. Water security. People have water. And we can use that for agriculture, which will increase crop yields So actually, not only do we have water, we also have more food, because water, 70% of water is used in agriculture. So with more water for agriculture, increased food in the local area and increased sanitation. People will be able to wash their hands, get washed, get clean, that sort of thing. So it provides water security, agriculture, and increased sanitation. So lots of good things coming out of that one. Protective layer. We've got the sand as well, filtering the water. So not only is it providing more water, the water's been filtered by the sand. We've got empowerment of women. Empowerment of women. Girls can go to school. Girls go to school. And that will lead to things like improved education, improved skill level, and then that could possibly lead to better jobs in the future, increased incomes, and all that sort of stuff. So empowerment of women and girls is a really good one. It is community-led. It's built by the community. It's often built by the women in the community. So it's a community-led project. Which is also known as, if you're going for the highest grades, a bottom-up development project. So it's built from the bottom-up development project. It's built by the people. It's built by the local community. I'm going to highlight that. If I can remember that for my exams, that would be amazing. It's a bottom-up development project. And it leads to great community spirit. So community-led project, and it helps with things like community spirit and community cohesion. Often built with women singing and dancing along whilst making the sand dam. I'm not going to try and do that now, otherwise it get embarrassing. But yeah, imagine loads of people dancing around, singing, great atmosphere as they build this sand dam, because they know how life-changing it can be. We've also said it's appropriate technology, so I'm not going to put that. No significant disruption to ecosystems, or plants, animals. No significant disruption to ecosystems. So the river and plants, animals, and habitat spaces is not really disrupted. So no significant disruption to the ecosystem, which is good. What else? We've got two more, guys, and then you should be experts in sand dams. Now, they are quite cost effective. Did a little bit of research. So we're going to put affordable. Remember, sustainability is about being affordable. They cost around about £25,000 each, which sounds like a lot, but to fix a water problem in a community, it's very affordable. It's a very affordable solution. And last but not least, it's sustainable. It's affordable. It helps people have access to water. It's community-based. It's definitely I'm going to put this in brackets, a sustainable strategy. It's probably strategy, spelled strategy on there. There you go, strategy. It's definitely one of the best strategies that you can use as a management of water. So that's sand dams in Kenya, the ultimate way to manage water sustainably. So there you have it, guys. Sustainable water management. And hopefully, let's get that all into shot. Let's just try and get it all in. Lots and lots of great detail there. So sustainable water management could come up in the UK. You can talk about these things in the UK. Obviously not the sand dams in Kenya, but all the rest of it is linked to the UK. Anything else here can be linked to the UK. But if it asks about sustainable water management, generally it can be the whole sheet. Or if it asks about a successful water management project, I would definitely talk about the sand dams in Kenya. They are the best effective strategy, most sustainable strategy that we probably have available to us that's been used in low-income countries. So there you have it, guys. Remember to hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Appreciate that. Hopefully your paper 2 exam goes well on Wednesday. I do think sustainable water management is going to be on there. That's why we've done that one tonight as well. And there you have it. So apart from saying thanks and goodbye, hopefully you've enjoyed tonight's live stream. I'll put you back on full screen. I've certainly enjoyed it as well. Hopefully your work looks really good. At the end of the day, it's revision anyway, so it doesn't have to be perfect, as long as you've listened along and you've enjoyed it as well. So we're going to say goodbye. Hit us up in the comments if you want to say anything before we go. Thanks. You're welcome. Thanks, James. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for hanging out with Geography. Mod, not much to do tonight. It's been a good crowd. So, yeah, there you go. Thanks for joining us as well, moderator. I appreciate that. If you want to do more Geography live stream fun, we're going to do something on paper 3 next Monday, because that's where we'll be up to. I might do one on Chudley Village. Yeah, possibly Chudley Village. The key things about Chudley Village. So if you don't want to miss that, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and get all of the updates. But for now, guys, enjoy your evenings. Take care, and like, share, subscribe, and push this live stream out to more geographers. All the best. Bye-bye.